Good morning. It's another wet day outside. So I've got my coffee. I'm on the sofa. Let's have a chat. So today we're talking about documentation and insurance. There are a few documents that you need to be able to drive a car on the road. We've got your driving license. We've got a logbook, which is properly called a V5. There is tax, or more correctly called vehicle excise duty, and you need some sort of insurance. So let's go through those one by one. Hopefully you've already applied or you've got your provisional license. In the UK, that's your green driving license for a provisional. When you pass your driving test, you'll get it replaced with a full license, and that's a pink one. With the UK coming out of the European Union, maybe the driving license colour will change, who knows. An interesting point, it's not necessary to carry your driving license with you while you're driving, although I can't think of a good reason why you wouldn't. However, if you are stopped by a police officer and they ask to see your license and you don't have it, they will simply give you a form, and you're then required to take your driving license to a local police station within 7 days. So that's an easy one to sort out. The license itself contains your address. If you move house, you are legally obliged to update the address as soon as it's practically possible. It contains your photo, your date of birth, your driving license number. And if you look at the driving license number, you'll see the first 5 letters are the first 5 letters of your surname. And if your surname is less than 5 letters, then it will have just some random characters at the end of it. The next 6 digits are your date of birth all jumbled up. So it is possible to work out somebody's birthday just by looking at their driving license. Then the final 5 digits are generally your initials. So first name, second name. Then a number 9 is normal, and then a couple of random characters. On the back of the license, it will give you a load of letters from A through to Z, and they correspond to the classes of vehicle that you are allowed to drive or provisionally allowed to drive. So the one we're talking about really for cars is category B. You may have heard of something called a logbook. Now technically it's called a V5 form, and what that does is it tells the driver and vehicle licensing agency, the DVLA, who is responsible for a motor vehicle. It doesn't necessarily tell you who owns the vehicle. It's possible for somebody else to own the vehicle, maybe a leasing company or a car hire company, or maybe a parent. But the logbook could be in your name because you might be the person that's responsible for ensuring it's roadworthy, ensuring it's taxed, and ensuring that it has some form of insurance on it. It also contains the address or the person who will receive any speeding tickets or bus lane offence tickets. So if you weren't driving at the time that a speeding offence happened, you would have to nominate the person that was driving, but the speeding ticket in the first place would come through to the person named on the V5 form. When you sell a vehicle, the name and address needs to be updated on the V5, and the buyer and the seller each keep part of the V5 for themselves, and both send it off to the DVLA, the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Agency. Quick word about car tax. Car tax is more correctly called vehicle excise duty. It's no longer the case that car tax pays for the roads. Generally that's paid for out of council tax for local roads, and the major roads are paid for out of general taxation. So really, vehicle excise duty is just another form of general tax that goes into the government. In order to be able to purchase car tax, you will need to prove that you are the registered keeper, so that's the person on the V5, and you'll also need to prove that you have some insurance on that vehicle. Nowadays, a lot of that can be done electronically. But if you say buy an insurance policy and then try and tax a vehicle 30 minutes later, systems may not have been updated in time. So it might be a good idea to print out a copy of the insurance certificate and take the V5 form with you down to your local post office, and you can purchase your car tax from there. Biggest subject for today really is insurance. And insurance comes in two main types, something called third party and something called fully comprehensive. Now, according to the Road Traffic Act, all vehicles on the road must have a minimum of third party insurance. Third party simply means somebody else. So that means if you are driving a car and you injure somebody else, or you cause damage to somebody else's car or somebody else's property, or you cause damage to some public property, maybe a bus shelter, or you drive into a brick wall owned by the council, then your insurance, your third party insurance, will pay for the other person's repairs, but it will not pay for any damage to your vehicle. For that, you need fully comprehensive insurance. So that includes third party insurance. So if you injure somebody else, it will pay their costs. But fully comprehensive insurance will also pay your costs. So let's say you drive into somebody's garden and you damage their brick wall. Your insurance will pay for the brick wall to be repaired, and it will also pay for your car to be repaired. Now, it's not surprising that anytime you make a claim on your insurance, the insurance company see you as more of a risk, and so they're likely to put up the price of your insurance next year. Final thing I've got on my list for today is your responsibility if you are involved in an accident where there is damage to people or property. By damage to people, we actually mean injury. If there are injuries to people, you've got to call the police. You've got to call an ambulance perhaps if it's a serious injury. Okay, but in any case, you must report the accident to the police within 24 hours. Now, should we be calling things road traffic accidents? Maybe we should call them road traffic collisions. An accident is something that is unexpected. As defensive drivers, we can always do something to reduce the severity of an accident. So that's all for today. Some things to think about. Discussed some things that could come up on a theory test. So I hope that helps, and we'll see you again for another coffee and a chat another time. Bye for now.